Daniel B. Summerhill. Daniel B. Summerhill is a poet and performance artist from Oakland, California. He has been writing poetry since the age of 12 and began performing after watching Lauryn Hill on HBO's Def Jam Poetry. Along with his performance accomplishments, Summerhill is a scholar who has earned a Bachelor of Arts in English and a master's degree in fine arts in creative writing poetry. Poetry has taught him that it speaks for itself and doesn't fit into any person's definition of language or literature. His poems are an attempt to claim that notion and provide the reader or listener with both vivid narrative and lyrical qualities that utter the distaste for barriers. Everybody, please put your hands together for Daniel B. Summerhill.
Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model, born in Babylon, non-white. What did I see to be except for myself? I made it up here in this bridge between starshine and clay. My one hand holding my other hand. Come, celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Lucille Clifton. This will be over quick. You won't have time to reply, defend yourself, or comprehend my logic, so grab a tall glass of water. Pop a Motrin and pray that when I'm done, you'll be too numb to realize that I just ripped the identity out of you. You will be judged solely on your face, fat, freckles, or lack thereof, skin, splendor of speech, number of kids' fathers, number of shoes, number of dollars you pay for those shoes, number of times you've been locked up, or the number of times you should have been. I would then place you in a box with those who I believe look like you. White boy, skinny jeans, gauge earring, punk rock. Black boy, pan slow, gold chain thug. A brown boy, 12 kids, long socks, Cortez's cholo. A black boy, sensitive eyes, crippled soul, 3 degrees, writes poems, plays basketball with his nephews, never committed a crime, error, stereotype, unknown. How will I explain to my kids that growing up in America isn't some inside joke that God has with the angels? That no matter what shade of gold their hearts are composed of, they will always be judged on the amount of melanin in their skin or the amount of clothes that conceal them, and how. How will I explain that no matter what their classmates wear to school, that each kid is still elegant in his own right? Brilliant enigmas camouflaged in the assembly line of grade school, that each kid is a piece of stained glass mosaic masterpiece that spans the crust of the earth. I may say something like break bond, break formation, be new, be you, be a flailing albatross, live outside the box society has placed you in, because, well, Mark Wahlberg sold drugs. Charles Dickens spent a year in prison. Einstein stuttered as a child in hell. Buzz Aldrin has a rap song with Snoop Dogg. So tell me how much you know about this body, about these dark brown eyes, about this ink canvas skin, and I'll tell you how children named Blue Ivy are more famous than little boys that get accepted into all 8 Ivy League schools. So tell me how ugly my beautiful is, how many times you've ripped the gorgeous out of me with one glare and one thought, and I'll tell you, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. Be free, be new, be you. Hell, be black, be blue, but never, ever apologize for being nude in your own skin. What up, Durban? I just want to say, firstly, this week has been amazing. I know I'm leaving in a couple days. I've only been here since last Sunday, but Durban is gonna be my second home because everyone here is so loving and it's genuine, and I can feel it. And so I have to come back. Like I made a promise to myself that I have to come back. I've also been telling mad kids that like I'm coming back, so they hold you to your promises. I know because I have a daughter, and like I can tell her something a week ago, and she'll be like, "Yo, Daddy, you said you're gonna give me a popsicle today, and so I need that to happen." So I'm gonna come back because I love Durban, and it's so beautiful. With that being said, I've also had like a really busy week. So I'm like, my tank is on E, so I need all of the energy that's out there like up here, right? So if you hear something you like, you can scream, you can snap, you can clap, you can throw money. Any of those things are appropriate. I promise you, it'll just give me energy and give me life. So I need like all that life. Let's practice. Say yes. Cool. All right, this next poem I'm going to do is about my nephew. His name is Elijah, and he's brilliant and amazing, but he hasn't always been told that. And I always tell him that, like, the world hasn't developed eyes to kind of see your kind of beauty. And so it's called Ode to Elijah. Uncle, do you want to fight? Uncle, come on, let's fight. A question my nephew has asked me since he could talk. Must be Kane, Triple H, or The Undertaker influencing him to want to brawl sporadically. I never stopped to think that maybe Elijah had more pinned up emotion than a child should. Maybe he mixed up fireball, quarrel, and reprisal. Maybe Elijah is angry at the universe for its ignorance about him on January 21st, 1999, circa 9:45 p.m. he was born. A 7-pound, 2-ounce miracle, Elijah came out of the womb ass first, and society has looked at him backwards ever since. The first time I held him, I could feel the weight of his heart and the density of his mind. Elijah has been diagnosed with autism for as long as I can remember. Elijah, you're one of a kind. God handpicked you to be different. He carefully crafted each of your neurons to function like fluttering wings of butterflies, symphonic hymns that float too brilliantly to be captured. Elijah, never let them tell you you're sick. You're not crippled or flawed. Your brain is just too complex for them to comprehend. Never let them shackle your thoughts like precious stars in prison. This world has progressed on the spines of people as beautiful as you. A spectrum of autistic genius, Einstein, Jackson, Mozart, Bob Dylan, Warhol, Elijah. They've mistaken artistic for autistic. Misdiagnosed the heaven in your heartbeat. When did poetry cease to be an accepted language? When did my nephew's words become too shiftless, too falsetto to be understood? Mass education marked by marginalization is manipulation. This is for every person that's ever been called retard, special, slow, crippled, crazy, derpy, dumb, freaks, or feeble-minded. For those naturally rebel firework-framed torsos that have been classified as diseased. Our lust for conformity has left our creativity behind. But nephew, you are new. Your brain has yet to be mapped. You are masterpiece. You're exuberant. You're powerful. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Never let them Christopher Columbus a mind that God already lives in. May your voice be as free as your ancestors once were. Speak with the courage we've all abandoned. Live big, live gorgeous, live on purpose. And the next time you ask me to fight, I'll say, yeah, Elijah, we'll fight this unappreciative world together. Just you and me, one day at a time. Thank you. You guys are amazing. All right, so next poem is called When I Say. When I say I believe in melanin, four-syllable names in cocoa butter, I mean there are too many souls to recognize as martyr or marvelous. When I say I seem gorgeous, I mean I watched 3 Cuban girls play hand games. When I say I seen strength, I mean I watched Billie Holiday kiss clef note into a newborn's weep moments after birth. When I say I met beauty, it waved at me from the backseat of my sister's car. When I say I believe in life, I mean I want to see my students grow old one day. When I say I believe in God, I mean I met her in the smile of a Palestinian graduate student. When I say I write poems, I mean I have no other way to breathe. When I say I be atlas wings, they unfurl when I weed a kibbeh in the morning. When I say maps make me nervous, I mean Europe and Asia are connected but segregated in textbooks. So the next poem, I'm gonna call on my man Matite to the stage, and while he's coming, I want to just share a quick little story about this poem I'm about to share. So make some noise if you have like a boo thing, a significant other. Make some noise. Cool. Make some noise if that boo thing don't know that they're your boo thing yet. So This is that poem. This is a poem about a boo thing that didn't know they were my boo thing yet, right? It's called 11 Things I Want You to Know. 1, on lazy days like this one, I wish I could gather every aspect of your smile, trace it across the sky, and watch the sun compete for rights to light up the world. 2, when we touched, everything around me stopped. The only thing moving was my heart playing hopscotch with my ribs and my soul, which was playing a hymn that sounded like a mix of Miles Davis and Maxwell singing over an overt symphony. 3, you're gorgeous. 4, anything after amour is apparently, absolutely, aberration, austere, and amiably abase. Ask an author about attribution, answer, absolute, arduous, agape. 5, there are 7 billion people walking the crust of this earth, and only one has graced the canvas of my pupils enough to make me see that beauty has no right to be skin deep. 6, did you know that jellyfish are immortal? And that every time they are broken, they just grow again, living forever. Come, let's live like jellyfish with no dismay. Time will no longer elude us, and heaven will only be able to seduce us. Let's be eternal, synonymous with infinity, embroidering our names into the universe. 7, you walk like bliss, like every bone in your body is celebrating a declaration of independence from gravity. 8, love makes your heart come out from its hiding place. 9, every day with you feels like a sestina. 6 phrases of love with 6 stages reflecting off the corridors of your canvas, and 6 reasons to stay up after the streetlights come on. 10, can we stay up after the streetlights come on? Or we can dance in the middle of them until they name them after us. 11, breathe now. It's okay. You breathing is an ode to the resilience that you live every day. So this next poem is really important to me because before I taught high school and before I taught college, I actually taught elementary school, and so many of my students were really, really young. And when they're really, really young, they have this really interesting view of the world, to where they don't see any bad, they don't see any tragedy really. They just have this really optimistic glass is half full kind of vision. And it both excited me and scared me, because there are so many things that they did not know that existed. And me, as their teacher, I felt it was my duty to kind of protect them. And so this poem is called Kasai's Keeper, and it touches on a lot of different things. And one of the things it touches on is the fact that in America, black men, black boys that are murdered are often demonized before they're eulogized. And so one particular story is Mike Brown, who was killed by police. I'm sure you may have heard of him. But something you may not know is he was just about to graduate, or he just graduated, and he was very poor, and a lot of his friends were very poor, and so they couldn't afford the caps and gowns to walk the stage. So they actually borrowed each other's caps and gowns. So one person would walk across the stage, go in the back, take it off, so the friend could put on that cap and gown and walk across the stage. This is the kind of people that are being killed, but are also being demonized for things that they may have done when they were 10, 12, 14, 15 years old. It's called Kasai's Keeper. Mr. Daniel, LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant. But Kobe won way more championships, Kasai. Yeah, but LeBron has better statistics. And I wanted to say, Kasai, I will teach you about numbers and how serious they become when your heels are on pavement and not hardwood. I will tell you that you are 7 years old, and statistically speaking, boys that look like you are not predicted to live more than 17 more years, but instead, I didn't speak. I said nothing at all. Instead, I went home and wrote this poem. It said, before I become a hashtag, I beg of you, I pray that we make mosaic out of 7 billion hearts. Before I go to sleep, I ask that we honor those who will not wake when the morning comes, that we speak of brown boys that made it to heaven before being tall enough to reach the handle on the pearly gates, of boys who had 2 lungs, a heart, and a gaze full of stardust, of boys that had 2 lungs, a heart, and a gaze full of chalk dust, outlines of the living before they were made to ashes and dust. Before I dream tonight, speak of those who were born sacrificed before they could spell gun, for those who were celebrated in the solemn of hallowed tear wells, for those who were left unbreathing when living is harder than breathing, when breathing has no life, when life has no breathing. You're dead to them. Just a pillar of marrow and a funeral, and a mother left to make memory of a smile that never quite got the opportunity to ripen. Before they try and make rap sheet out of your eulogy, tell them that you were a monument before you became a martyr, that you were somebody's son, somebody's soulmate, somebody's best friend, somebody's future father, could have been lawyer, sculptor, doctor, or scholar, could have been W.E.B. Hughes, King, or Shabazz. I will speak of you as you were, Michael. You were an outlier, testament posing for picture in a borrowed cap and gown Kamani. You were unbloomed carnation, a flower that didn't get a chance to see the spring, Stefan. You were a handful of Rubik's Cube, complex and incomprehensible, that you were both pulse and power, all eros and pinnacle, all jackhammer and harp. I will clench your heartbeats. I will hold your character intact like the best short stories ever told. I will preserve your marvel, and I will echo your tales legendary. I'm sorry that I'm limited to these 26 characters, that my voice is the only song of your album that is still playing, but don't think for a moment that you can break a writer's heart and ink won't spill, so I will write your names in the clouds so that everyone can see how marvelous your rainbows have become. What more is there to say but, Kasai, let this poem be a time-capsuled letter. And God, let my words be the keeper that 17 years from now, Kasai will still be alive to read it. All right, I'm gonna try something. That has nothing to do with this poem. I just wanted to see how you guys were gonna react when I. That's energy level check. That's all. All right. Just a few more poems. The next poem is actually about my name, which is really interesting because when I came here and I was looking at the list of performers that I'd be sharing the stage with, they all had these really interesting and like intricate names, and I get here and they're like, "Yo, what does your name mean?" It's like, "Son of the earth, of like the moon and the clouds." I'm like, and then I'm like, "My name is Daniel," you know. But Daniel is really a really important name, and this poem is kind of touches on why. Urban Dictionary says Daniel. The Urban Dictionary says Daniel is a black boy, or a block boy, or is a black and block boy, and still is a poem with complexity and extended metaphor that does not include prisoner or junkie or anything not self-proclaimed. The way stigma always seems to autofill itself is blade, is rebellion by breathing, is nigga, pronounced nig, depending on the day, is a Gibson Les Paul between Muddy Waters' fingers, sweaty yet triumphant, is a Chicago blues hall in the 40s, is enough grace to catcall tomorrow like it was some sort of courtship, is a swollen belly, is hunger, is the swell of hunger, a plastic spatula left on the stove, or baking soda, and hot water is hot water just before it boils. Mama gave me a biblical name, one that means God is my judge, or in other words, there ain't a person walking earth with enough holy in their body to try and break its cadence. One that means the struggle belongs to the one struggling and them alone. One that means here's a toast to living past 25. One that means, Mama, you will bury me one day, but before my song comes to a close, I will call you by your name and nothing else. I will call you by your name. It has always, always been enough. I have one more poem, I think, right? I'm running close to time. I don't see the flashlight yet. And this poem is a celebration of everything that is not celebrated, pretty much. I mean, that's enough of an explanation. It's called Ain't We. Also, I want to preface this by saying I have an English degree, but I still use ebonics and slang and colloquialisms because that's okay, and we shouldn't be looked down upon because we do it. It's called Ain't We. Ain't we fly? Don't we be brown unapologetically? All new Negro movement and fist on Pennsylvania Avenue, ain't we right now? Like yesterday happened, we'll go to a funeral tomorrow, but today is kissing my forehead soft, so I think I'll stay here for a while. Ain't we magician? Make a feast out of famine and few, turn a pot of collard greens into a love story, the kind of dopamine that'll put you to sleep. Ain't we bold? Don't we sing gospel hymns on Sunday mornings and redemption songs on Monday night? Ain't we fly? Don't we make up a new grammar like the dictionary was too boring, so we added an extra syllable to the end of baby girl's name? Don't we make the alphabet sound cool? Euphemisms and sublime because ain't politically correct. My ebonics is a language. You can't understand me because you're not listening. Ain't we fly? Don't we defy binary? Make space between brawny and plush. Even as the sun skips past the spine of America, we still wake up each day and send shockwaves to the cerebral. We be both blood and backbone of this country. Yes, all 5/5, hair coiled in harmony like Black Fist. We knew poetry before we knew prayer. The way our elders showed us the Psalms, ain't we fly? Ain't this poem a celebration of those things they either mock or claim as their own for that little black boy who was silenced in elementary school when he told his teacher he wanted to be a rapper when he grew up? I say, freestyle, black boy. Music is our blues, our bond, our praise, our peace, our voice in praise of our voice. Sing, we gon' be all right. 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 Ain't we? Thank you.